Hi guys, Will here from WBTrading and welcome back. If you are new to the channel, please do hit that subscribe button and tap the bell icon so that you don't miss any of the free content that I share with the trading community here on YouTube. So in today's video, I am really excited to share another client interview, this time talking with our client Mark Coplowe from here in England. And this one did actually get somewhat emotional actually at one stage. So as someone who is hard of hearing and as actually a brand new trader when he joined us, Mark's first question wasn't actually course related. It was a request for text and subtitles, which was something that we didn't actually provide at that time, but which our customer success manager Paul quickly built out for Mark, which, as he says, really made all the difference in regards to us actually going right out of our way to help to get that fixed pretty much straight away. From there, Mark committed to the program, he learned the strategy rules, and he even decided to then actually join our 6-month Profitability Accelerator Programme too, where he was mentored in person by our in-house coach, Tom. And our conversation, which you're about to hear, actually marks exactly 6 months on since he joined that program. So as Mark tells us within the call himself, using just 2 of the strategies, he's generated a really outstanding 34R return, or in other words, 34 times the risk that he placed within each position across this period, using specifically our price reversion and session momentum strategies, putting him firmly into that top tier of traders who are profitable in a world where the vast majority of traders actually lose money. And he's now flying ahead in both results and more importantly, confidence. Mark truly is a really brilliant guy. I've always loved talking with him, watching him progress from the sidelines. And well, anyway, enough from me. Let's get into the conversation, and I really hope that you enjoy. 5-6 months has gone since you joined us. It's flown by, hasn't it?
I keep telling everybody it's Groundhog Day. So it's only when like yourself come on and is it on a Skype call that I think, yeah, that breaks up my day. So you kind of look forward to it because you think, yeah, that's really good. I don't have to do the rigmarole that you're doing. You get up, all right. I love the trading. Don't get me wrong. I always wake up looking forward to it. Sometimes I feel bloody tired when I get up. Other times, and bizarrely, like yesterday, I was completely washed out. It was actually not a bad day's trading, but I didn't think I was mentally right for it, but it worked.
Yeah, that's it. That's why you can never predict, isn't it? But let's dive in, Mark. So let's start from the top. Talk to me about how results have been over the last 5-6 months.
I think first and foremost, I think the thing that really came to mind was how do you master discipline? And I've experimented with different ideas. So, for example, in the last month, I've been writing a headline every morning. Discipline and mindset, only 2 trades maximum, stop losses not exceeding an amount, fix a strategy every day. That's one. The second thing I do at the bottom of the page, I put how much I won or lost in the day in money terms. So that even I keep on the spreadsheet a running total on each strategy, how you're performing, it's actually to remind me to stop over trading, because that is also like when you start getting to the then trading. So you have to understand I've never done forex trading before, but I told you in our meeting that I had done spread betting into stocks, but they were not overnight stuff. It was more for 3 months or more. So it wasn't like I was looking at it every 5 minutes or anything like that. So that's probably been the biggest positive thing that's come out of it. And what I've been really pleased about is that I'm beginning to become more and more and more consistent. And if anybody, and the other thing is that I do feel training is fundamentally important. Why would you want to cut somebody's head open and do a brain surgery if you've never been trained? Or why would you go and sit in a car and drive and probably end up killing somebody? I mean, at one time actually, I made a trade, because sometimes I come in my dressing gown, not now, I used to. And I thought, no, I can't be bothered to watch it. I had a shower, And I went to my iPad as I got out of the shower. I said, yeah, I think I made a loss. And it was the biggest trade I'd ever made. There you go. But, they're just one-offs, obviously. But I'm talking about how you be consistent over time and, accepting the probability. So I don't get hung up on a lot less now about the individual trade. I'm more like looking at a week, a month, and what's happening there.
Yeah, exactly. It's that attitude that's got you to where you are now, isn't it? And in fact, on that subject, let's talk about your specific results. Okay, so talk to me about maybe R value percentage that represents the last 6 months of trading.
Well, first of all, as I said, I never did Forex, and trade betting I had experience because I've obviously got an investment portfolio. So it was just a means of saving on capital gains tax, basically, to do that. And why did I get into Forex trading? Well, you probably mentioned before that because being an accountant, and by the way, I retired 3 weeks ago, and I've actually now started a new business, so I haven't stopped. But I had a client who was in the shipping industry, and they had a Forex trading desk. So I was doing the account. So obviously you used to speak to the Forex trading guy, and they had the Reuters screens and stuff like that. So I had a kind of like a general passing interest in that. And then it was actually watching a YouTube live video of some Americans doing live stock trading. And I just thought, well, that sounds something I probably could do. So I then started looking around, and then I thought, well, how about looking at Forex? So it was then coming down to finding out about you, finding out about Jason Gravestone was the other one I looked at. Really just to sort of get a picture of who I thought possibly would be reputable. And I'm pretty good at doing my research because obviously, not so much because I'm being an accountant, I do my due diligence on, like if we have a client who's going to buy a company, I just don't look at Companies House, for example, I look at other means. So I looked at lots of different ways. I did manage to find out some various things, and I thought, okay, well, this sounds like it's a bit kosher, so let's go and find out a bit more about you. And then I started watching your YouTube videos, and then I started looking to see what those results were and to see whether they were plausible. Sorry, somebody will answer the door. They were plausible. So I thought, well, we'll start communication. There was no messing around, there were straightforward answers, there weren't pushy selling. I thought, okay, well, shall I risk my money? So then took the platinum, because I think we did a special offer at the time. And then I thought to myself, well, actually, if you're going to do it properly, you need some training. So decided to pump for the investment in that and take it from there. And so, so the risk obviously was financial, but I think in the longer term, because my plan basically is that to increase the funding from 2 to 10, so you can get a better reward, if you like, but you do need to go through that process of making the mistakes where you've got a relatively small fund, money you can afford to lose, in effect.
Interesting. See, I didn't actually know that. I didn't know back then. I don't think that you were brand new, but I mean, it begs the question really, as a brand new trader, how did you find the program? How did you find the coaching, the full experience, really?
Okay. I found it challenging to start with. And the first thing I found challenging was, sitting down and learning the strategies, obviously because I'm hard of hearing. I had to go and listen to videos quite frequently, and there were chunks that were missing. And when I said, is it possible to have text written in it, and so on and so on, and your colleague Paul said, he knows sign language, and said, yeah, I'll do it for you. I was, I was pleased. I was so pleased. Yeah. So you're getting me emotional on this one. But that to me is really important. So that really started to tick the boxes. So even if I learned nothing, the fact that you went out of your way to do it, I can't say thank you enough. Okay? So from that, it meant that I could relax, listen to video, read the text, follow it from the text, and then go ahead and try the strategies. And then obviously the communication between me and Paul on the where I was doing, what I was doing, I'm trying to get an understanding. And then my dealings with Tom have been an interesting one. I did find Tom a little bit hard to follow at times. Not criticism of him, he's totally engrossed and excited about what he says. That sometimes when I get a word in, he's like sort of carried away, and I sort of think, well, I'd like to say something. I'd like to interrupt. So, to be fair, I have learned a lot. I think what was interesting when he started to suggest, because he felt very happy that I'd picked up the DAX strategy pretty quickly, so he said, you might as well start learning other strategies. And deep down, I didn't think I was actually ready. But I thought, well, you've got the experience, you teach lots of people, I trusted your instinct. I think, had it been a month later, I think I probably would have been ready. And I know what his reason was behind it is because you can diversify your risk, because you're not sitting onto one strategy, because if the market doesn't behave, then you're going to have a downturn in money. So by going into that. So I then started to look at my trades properly. I started to take out what I should be doing, sort of put back in what I should have been doing and take out what I shouldn't have been doing. And then decided that I'm only going to do the DAX, pound dollar, and the euro dollar. The euro dollar is my second best performing strategy. They're both in profit. And they're my two favourite ones. And they're the ones that I've started to capitalise on. So they're the sort of things that I've done. And yes, I would say that Tom has given me the pointers for that. So that gives you an opportunity to trade.
Yeah, okay, understood. Well, if we can come back for a second to overall results. So again, exact R value perhaps on a total basis, per strategy basis. I think that would be a really great thing to talk about if you could share that.
The DAX 30R since the 1st of October, that's roughly about 25% gain on the account. And the second best is only done 4R, that's a euro dollar. But since March, I've already done 3R, and that's basically because I've actually completely done a revision. So it's never the holy grail, but it's making sure that you're moving in that right direction. So yeah, so those are the two. So as I said, it's about 450 quid or something up on the DAX. On a £2,000 account. I don't think it's bad.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's pretty much dead on 25%, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, 5.5 months. It'll be 6 months at the end of March. And that's what I wanted when you wanted to have a discussion. So it might be best to leave at the end of March. Then I've got a nice big chunk of data. But today's absolutely fine. I mean, there's enough data there to talk about and enough experience that I've gained in the last 5.5 months.
Yeah, that can't be argued with at all. That goes without saying. So, well, if we rewind back to before you joined us, because again, you were a brand new trader at that stage. Obviously, there's two ways to go as a trader. So the discretionary route, the mechanical route. Do you feel that going the mechanical route, looking back now, was the right decision for you? What would you say?
I would say probably 85-90% of the time is definitely the right one. I'm not going to lie and say, have I been doing pattern trading? I've explored it. But the thing that always keeps coming back to me, and I keep reminding myself, is that the market is random. You don't know what's going to happen next. So, you haven't done enough back testing to prove that pattern really has an edge, as it were. And yes, you could do, support and whatever, but again, it comes down to the fact that I pay for the strategies. Why not use them? And why not try and find ways of including it rather than, because it would never be perfect, but it would always, there would be what we would say within the realms of probability, most of the time there would be a positive edge. And I think this is when I use the word constant review, it's not a daily review, It's very much a weekly and monthly review and a quarterly review.
Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely with you on the edge side of things, on the review side of things. Another question that comes to mind, though, Mark, if I can ask, is that before you actually joined us, again, as a brand new trader, I don't keep mentioning that, but why was it that you chose us? Why not any other trading course or trading company out there?
I think it's all about your own personality, what it really comes down to. I'm trying to get into the higher time bias bar, higher time zone bias bar, because that is my next step, where you might be good enough to achieve maybe anything between 7 and 10 hours a month in normal trading, if was to become consistent. It's more about the strategy, the approach to the strategy, and mechanics within it, and how you fine tune it, and where you get, as you say, where you get mistakes, how you and you've got to spend the time and the effort. I mean, so you've got to get those mindsets in place first before you can press the button.
Understood. Yeah. So it was the mechanical nature. Okay. Well, let's skip forwards. So what would you say to somebody who is maybe they're listening to this interview right now, they're thinking of working with us, of working with the team, and so on and so forth. What advice would you give to them? What would you say to that person?
Well, I think take advantage of a professional trader and training. Advantages of mentoring, particularly helping with mindset, discipline, and developing consistency, and follow the rules once you've learned it, and forget about it being a quick rich scheme that doesn't exist. Record everything, trade, how you feel, when to say no, and evaluate and find ways of improving. Simple as that.
Yeah, brilliant. That's certainly the attitude. Well, let me ask about the plans for the future, Mark. So let's talk the next 6 months, 12 months. What are you aiming to achieve? What are you trying to get to?
Well, you know what? It's quite funny actually, because I said to myself, I'm going to sit down when I've got my 6 months, and then I'm going to set myself some goals. Because beforehand, there were no goals per se, because it was all about learning, and it was all about getting those mistakes out of your system, building up on the discipline. So I think I've been looking at FTMO, and I think, is it really for me? And there seems to have quite a lot of restrictions in that. And no doubt you've had a couple of people who've joined that. It is quite nice to use other people's money. I mean, but you know, I don't know what the P's and C's are involved in that, and obviously you've got to do it full time. I don't know whether that means, so many hours a day, or whether you do 2 hours in the morning and that's it. Because that's all I do predominantly. I do a couple of hours, and then I have started looking at the opening of the American market and seeing if there's some possible strategies to develop in the FX pairs, particularly in the euro dollar, because the euro dollar is the one that has the most liquidity, and there's been some interesting moves between 1 and 1:30. And I think there's something to explore there, but just sort of patience in developing where I'm going to go with that. That's it really. And then because I've started a new business, it's I've gone back into property again with some other people that I've known for a while. So we've gone into service accommodation. So Airbnb, Booking.com, that kind of thing. But yeah, so that's quite a nice complete break. So I don't have to be like looking at my screen or looking at my phone. My job is done basically. All right, I'll make a confession today on the DAX. I had it to my target, and I thought it's going to beat the target today. I know it is because I've seen this before, so I pushed it up. Dodgy boy, but there you go. Now, don't tell me you wouldn't have done that. But you think, if I had my finger on the button ready, that once it reaches the target, that if it didn't, then bing, I've got it. So I've made my target minimum. Or I could have taken 75% of it and let the 25% go to the next position. But I didn't. Because I felt that if you're gonna stick to strategy, you stick to strategy without modification.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Mark, I think that's a really great place to end the call today. Thank you so much for letting me jump on a call with you again. It's been a real pleasure to talk to you. And yeah, let's stay in touch. And here's to the next 6 months, 12 months.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay,
Cool.
take care. And yeah.